Scrap Girls have set up another 100-day challenge over 2017, and today is August 1st, the first day of the challenge. What I'm sharing with you just here is the Bashful album that I have put together. It's an everyday life album, and I've pulled out some of My Crush pages, and I'm just showing you some of the watercolour ones just here. They've got a fabulous watercolour bit that if you paint over them, the clear stuff underneath comes through, which is really cool. And I'm also going to be playing with some of the Bashful glitter paper. You'll see a little bit later on that I thought I might use this, but I ended up changing my mind with the page. And so in this album I've got a mixture of, it's a 6x8 album, and it will take 2 6x4s, or I could have 4 pocket folders, or I can have clear pocket just with the 6x8 page, or this page like I'm using just here that's from one of the My Crush options. So I've just grabbed a mixture, put them in together and thrown them in all sorts of orders. I did start by thinking I would use one of the watercolour papers when I looked at this photo, and it talked about doing more of what you love, and this photo was kind of connected to that. However, my thinking changed as I looked at the photo on the papers and some of my options. And part of this challenge is I just want to do something fast, something quick, something easy every day. And I have scrapbooked this photo before, but I wanted it in this album because it represents a few of the things that I enjoy being creative with on a regular basis, and some of these things I've picked up this year, and some of the things have been long-term things that I've just restarted doing it. So here I'm looking at the Bashful glitter paper, and it just doesn't quite work on this page. In some ways it does, but I didn't feel it made the photo stand out anymore or help tell the story any better. But I am going to use some of our new vellum paper underneath this, as well as a couple of our new stamp sets. So here I'm just pulling out the Splash of Colour Essentials stamps, and I've made good use of these already, so I'm thinking they were a worthwhile investment. The other stamp I'm going to use is the School Year Stamp of the Month, which is our current stamp of the month, which has got lots of options, and you'll see that I'm not going to use it on a school page here, and I'm just going to play around with these stamps. And so using the Splash of Colour Essentials and just some of our archival black ink, I'm just going to add a little bit more texture or definition using these stamps onto this page. I love using acrylic stamps because looking through the block you can actually get a little bit of a picture in your mind about where you're going to put things. So playing around with the stamps, choosing where to put them. I have recently renegotiated or reorganised where I set up the videoing and things like that. So I've organised a wee space in the corner of my bedroom where I've got a bookshelf, and so I've been able to stick the tripod coming out of the bookshelf, propped up by a few other books, with my phone just attached on the top, and so far it's working quite well. I'm interested to see what the lighting is like in this recording, because I'm using a softbox type light from one of my photography light setups, and so far it's looking okay. And so just while I play with all these stamps and clean them down, I decided to use one of the little Splash of Colour stamps as well. It just needed a bit more over there to balance them out. And so keeping the stamps in the cover, otherwise I end up finding I don't know which is which and get them all muddled up. But I'm just going to use little scissors to cut round on the vellum, cut the photo out. Doesn't need to be a perfect edge. In cards often you need a little bit more of that neat tidy evenness, but on a page like this where I just want to create quick and easy layouts that capture something and allow me to do something creative every day, and with today being day 1 of 100, I managed that, and this probably took less than 15 minutes in total. Probably even closer just to 10 minutes putting this page together, which is enough. When you're thinking about developing or doing something creative every day, it needs to be manageable, and if I can create pages like this in 10 minutes, well, that's keeping it within that manageable time frame, and I should be able to keep that up for 100 days, but time will tell. I'm often very good at doing something like this for about a week and then just let things get away with me. So you'll see that I used one of the school year stamps, the frame, and I just stamped it on some of our jack paper, one of the jack paper pieces with the black archival, and then I cut around that, and I'm not even going to show the whole stamp. I just really liked the wood grain texture. The photograph of my ukulele's got a bit of a wood grain, and the floor that I photographed it on has a wood grain as well. So that kind of tied the photos into the papers and page that I'm using. These were 3 hearts, also from the school year stamp of the month. I toyed with doing them in black and white, but ended up deciding that I'd just add a little bit of different colour to tie in some of the paint colours that are in here. So I decided to use raspberry. And pressing it down. I'm using the foam mat that comes in the stamp pads under where I'm stamping, and that just helps give a nice even impression with the stamps. Even though on a page like this a little bit of smudging or a little bit of area that wasn't stamped would actually be okay. So the gold bits and pieces that I'm using are from one of the My Compliment set that are in the new 2017 to 2018 Annual Inspirations, which was launched today. Kind of cool that it's launched on the same day as the 100-day challenge is starting as well. So adhering down these bits and pieces, and while I did stick this down with the tape runner, I also decided to staple it. It just added a nice little touch on the top of the page. And I decided to use the foam dots on the larger heart, just to help it even push out from the page a little bit. But also because there were a few different layers that it was going onto, and I felt that having it on the foam dot would just help push it up a little bit higher. I'm using some of the prickly pear sequins. I just thought the colours were kind of cool, and they fitted in line with some of the colours that were in the photograph. Just add a little bit more of a pop to the pages where I put them. And when I put them onto the page, I'm sort of thinking in groups of 3. So you'll see that I sort of have 3 elements of different areas, like 3 of the raised bits, or 3. You'll be able to find 3 hearts on the page, and 3 is just one of those really nice design numbers. And adding my journaling down the bottom, and just as an indication that I'm starting this 100-day challenge, and it's about being creative, and I want to keep up this creativity, and this photo, as I said earlier, just represents opportunities to be creative outside scrapbooking and paper crafts and things like that. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next. I don't have any real structure around what I want to achieve. I just want to do something in this album every day as possible for the next 100 days. And I think I might do a bit of vinyl cutting on my Cricut or something to label the front of the album with something to do with the 100-day challenge, 100 days of creativity. And here's just some close-ups of the bits and pieces and the elements that went onto this page. Thanks for watching, and feel free to join us on the 100-day challenge.